call this meeting of the Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2 to order at 7 p.m. I do certify we have a quorum present. Commissioner Biggers is absent. And at this time, I'll ask Commissioner Domney if he'll lead us in a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flag.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight in prayer, Lord, to ask that you would be with us throughout this meeting, to lead us and guide us. Lord, to be with all those here in the room with us today, and to especially be with those that couldn't attend, those that are ill, those that have been injured. Bless each one of those and stay with them throughout their sickness and illnesses. Lord, we ask that you would guide us throughout the night and throughout this evening to make sure that we are acting in your name, that all things are good, and bless these things in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Item number 3, recognition of guests and special presentations. Do we have any guests tonight that we know of? Tony, why don't you introduce all of your folks back here? Some of them we don't know.
Some of y'all might know this young man here. David Dale is our off-house supervisor.
All right.
And Amber Clemens, she's been with me a couple times.
All right. Okay. Anybody else?
Gentleman in the blue.
Yeah, gentleman in blue. Oh, okay. All right. All right then. Nobody else, then we'll move on to item 4, which is public comment. Any individual may sign up, provide comment. You're limited to 3 minutes, and the floor is now open.
Good evening. I just want to take and introduce myself. My name is Ray Cook. I'm a customer service representative for Sid's Martin's Emergency Group. I'm new to the area as far as for the role. I've actually moved up here, retired from the fire service, down in the Houston-Galveston area. In 2018, I've moved up northwest of Gilmer. I've recently taken this role. The role of the Sid's Martin Emergency Group has always been customer service, make sure the customers are happy. We pride ourselves on that. Well, now we're actually putting people in the field to take and be able to go out and check with our people, make sure they're happy, and deal with any problems. If there's any problems, there's not problems, that's great, because I haven't found any yet. We appreciate Smith County. I've already gone out and pretty much hit every department except for actually Tyler Fire Department. So you've probably already seen the packets that I've left at the stations with our card information in it and some other flyer stuff. But like I said, I'm the customer service rep. I just wanted to put a face to the card. I'll stay here afterwards just so we can introduce ourselves. If you have any questions of me, I'll see you after the meeting. And that's all I've got. I've already met Mike.
All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Have anyone else signed up for public comment?
I've received no others.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item 5 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. Receive, discuss, and take any next action relating to the following reports. 5.1, approval of minutes of the Board of Commissioners, March 28, 2022 meeting, the special call meeting of April 11th, 2022, and the special call meeting of April 22nd, 2022.
Okay, I move that we approve those minutes as submitted.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney that we approve all 3 sets of minutes as presented. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 5.2 is the financial report, March of 2022, and March 2022 tax distribution report. And I guess that will fall to you, Brent.
Yeah. So gone through and reviewed the reports as I have in the past. There's no material change to anything in there. So I move that we would accept both reports, the monthly report as well as the tax distribution report under 5.2.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy. We accept the financial report and the tax distribution report as presented. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McKeithen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 6, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. Under 6.1 will be our regular bills that we pay. And I don't think I have any.
So the only comment that I was going to make, and I spoke with JD about this earlier, is that under the detail, we have had a tendency here to just basically give one description whenever there may be multiple items under that. We need to make sure that we have a clearer description in these so that when we're looking at them, and I'll use the tablet replacement project and to CDW. There's also an IT printer in there as well. So we need to identify.
We need to identify the
Same,
different.
yep.
Yeah, it needs to be broken out so we'll know exactly what.
So we all know exactly what's in there without, I go through and look at each one of the receipts, but if somebody's just scanning it, they may not recognize and pick it up. So that'd be the only comment I have.
Okay. All right.
With that comment, I'll make the motion that we approve payment of bills under 6.1.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominy that we approve the payment of bills under item 6.1. I have a second. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. Under 6.2 is the district credit card payments. You see those, and anybody has any comment or question on those?
I have none. I'll make the motion that we approve the credit card payments under 6.2.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominy that we pay the credit card payments under 6.2. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner McKeithen. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay. And 6.3 is our contract payments. I didn't see anything outstanding in that.
No, I don't as well. Didn't pick up anything there, so I'll make the motion that we approved contract payment under 6.3.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to pay our contract payments under 6.3. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is that right? Right. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. And number 7, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on adopting a draft illustrative plan as the final plan that redistricts and establishes new boundaries for the commissioner districts. And just to give you a little insight on that, that's what the special meeting about Friday was. We're required by law to go back after each census and look at the way the votes are distributed in the district. So we did that Friday. We did have a quorum available to do that, and I think we came up with a pretty good map that probably would take care of everybody. So
I'll say for everybody that's just hearing what's going on is that we did have an outside third party that conducted the analysis for us and actually put together all the data and presented it to the board. They've actually had agreed to join us this evening via phone call, and so if we had any questions or we had any discussion, they'd be available for us to go through those. So we as the board actually participated in the meeting on last Friday. They gave us the information that we had requested. The same group has done the work for Tyler, ESD1, White House. It's actually all across Smith County, so it just makes sense just to have them incorporate ours as well. we did note some different areas where the boundaries were not necessarily as consistent with the responding districts. So we were actually to go back in and make a few adjustments to that. And though it's not perfectly aligned, it is relatively aligned. I will though ask that, Adam, are you on the line this evening with us? Or Philip?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay.
I
Okay,
mean,
so Philip, I'd ask that you would do a introduction. I've given the group a little bit of background on the process we went through, but you were much well versed in the process that we've gone through. If you don't mind, go ahead and just give us that brief introduction we had discussed, and then we'll move into official business.
Yes, sir, thank you. So we drew on Friday last week a new map for the district that puts the district in balance, which means population of the individual districts are balanced as far as population within the deviation allowed by law. And then made some changes to make them overlap as close as possible with the service areas of the respective fire stations, I believe, and then to line them up to the county elections. So we settled on what we call Plan C. Last week we seen some maps of it this morning with the charts and the statistics on it. And so Plan C, if you choose to adopt it today, I can send you the resolution tomorrow morning, and really we can just add some maps to the resolution. I'll send it to you as one final PDF, and it will be, so you can vote to adopt it tonight and just sign the resolution tomorrow at your next meeting.
Okay. So the key thing for all of us was looking at the population across Smith County, across all of our districts, to make sure that our voting precincts were relatively aligned with each other, so you don't have higher representation or lower representation in each one of the districts. Looked at the basis of that population, and then there are certain things that we have to be in compliance with as far as percent deviation in different areas that we've reviewed and ensured that we're aligned. And I don't know, C1 was the last one we looked at. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to add to it.
I think that's what we came up with
Okay.
Friday, and I think everybody was pretty much in agreement on it, unless somebody sees something they don't like tonight.
Okay, so we did publish it on Friday, the resolution, so the public has the opportunity to comment. If the public wants to make recommendations on different ways to redistrict, that opportunity was given to them. Having nobody come in tonight, I'm going to say there was no public comment to it, and with that, I'm going to make the motion that we adopt the resolution and the districting map C1 as proposed.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dominy that we adopt the resolution as presented and the map of C1, and have a second by Commissioner McKeithen. Is there any other discussion? Okay. Do we need to read the resolution, Mike?
It would help.
Okay. I think there's two of them. There's one adopting the criteria. Do we have to read it too? And then the other one, or just the redistricting?
Just the redistricting.
Okay. All right. Resolution number 22-002, State of Texas, Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2 guidelines for persons submitting specific redistricting proposals. Whereas the District Board of Commissioners has certain responsibilities for redistricting the Emergency Services District under federal and state law, including but not limited to Amendments 14 and 15 of the United States Constitution, USCA, and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, 52 USCA, subsection 10301, and Texas Government Code.
Hold on just a second. You want him to read the entire guidelines for persons submitting specific redistricting?
Just the resolution.
That's the resolution. or did I get it wrong?
Yeah,
Well, then it's numbered wrong on the agenda then.
Those are the resolutions that we had to put out for
yeah,
the folks.
he said
from
something
Friday.
on the
I-
phone about submitting us.
Well, this says adopting criteria on this one, so,
I don't have the resolution
oh, you
yet.
didn't have the
Okay.
resolution?
He'll send it to us in the morning, is what he
Okay,
was saying.
well then, we're not gonna be able to.
We're not gonna be able to take care of it tonight then.
Can you read the resolution? Do you have it there handy?
Are you able to read the resolution to us?
I do not have it in front of me at the moment, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can get it to you, probably in half an hour or so.
So, we don't have to do it tonight, right?
I'm ready, I just
No.
have to step away from
We'll just do it,
So,
we'll just table it and do
yeah,
it next.
Philip, that's okay. We don't have to do it tonight. I thought we actually had it here.
Right.
So that is just fine. If you don't mind, send it over to us. We'll go back in and review it, and then we'll go ahead and put it on agenda for our next meeting to actually adopt the resolution.
Okay. I mean, you can vote to adopt to approve the map, and
Right.
I can send you the actual, resolution on paper to execute.
Okay.
I'd just do it all at once.
Yeah, I will too. Yeah, I am too, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well,
Okay.
you'll have to rescind your motion.
Yep, so I'll rescind my motion and make the motion that we table item 7 until our next regular scheduled meeting.
Okay. I have a second on his motion. Second by Commissioner Wilson. All right, then that item is tabled until we can put it on the agenda of the next meeting. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
All right. I thought we was gonna have the,
Yeah, I did
So,
too.
that's not a problem.
But that's fine.
okay, item 8, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on budgeted hose testing. Budget amount $13,680, requested amount $13,680. And you gonna speak to that, Chief Smith?
Yes. Okay, this is our hose testing that we did budget for. In the board packet is the quote from the company that we all initially decided to use. The quote does say June 29, 2021. However, when we talked to them in June, they stated that the price would be the same then, it would be the same this year. We reached out again to make sure, to get a new quote. This is what they sent us back, was the same exact quote. If this is approved, we do have this scheduled for May, so we will be able to go ahead and get our hose tested. Again, this amount is the amount we budgeted, so it is there.
Okay, all right.
Make a motion, we approve $13,680 to test our hose with Waterway.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen to spend $13,680 with Waterway to do hose testing for the district. I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 9. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on budgeted shop support stands, shop lifts and stands, quote number 4-19-2022. And, Mike, you want to speak to that?
These are stands that we use in conjunction with, or that we would use in conjunction with the lifts that we have. If, say we have a large vehicle supported up in the air and we need to keep something, like put them under the frame to be able to lower something else. And there are stands that are big enough and that can support the weight and are weight rated enough to do that and not collapse or fall or anything like that. It just assists in performing some other repairs that become helpful in the shop.
Okay, for the stands, we budgeted $3,800. Current pricing, due to price increases from the time we did budget and the time we got the quotes for the budget, they are at $4,220. That was an 11% increase. On May 1st, they will go up again to $4,620, which is a 21.5% increase. So if we buy them now, we're going to save $400 on these. There is only one quote. That is because these are brand specific and we have to deal with a vendor. They have a sales territory, so we can only get quotes from that vendor. They are compatible with the jacks and things we have in the shop. So that's why it's brand specific.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay,
Now, so do we have two different items, or are they still combined here?
they're still combined.
Yeah, the other one was just a May, that's if we wait.
Yeah,
Okay,
so there,
the first item we have is only the stands, right?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
22,
sorry,
20,
you say
yeah.
9 and 10.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we spend the $4,220 for the 4 shop stands. Do I have a second?
Hold on.
Okay.
The number I'm looking at
Well,
is,
Look, go back up here.
So we're on agenda item
He
number
put two
9.
on- he put
they're
two
both on the same.
Yeah.
I understand the confusion now, okay,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, have a second by Commissioner McKeithen. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. All right, item 10 is discuss, consider taking the necessary action on budget purchase of shop lifts and stands.
And the lifts is just adding 4 more additional lifts to the set of 6 that we already have to aid in another bay being open or used for doing any major repairs that need to be done in the air or oil changes, stuff like that. It frees up that if we have a piece of apparatus that is up in the air and broke down for a little while, then we still have the aid of the other 4 lifts to be able to perform any other repairs. And these are the same brand as the ones that we have, so you can only buy this brand so that they interlink with each other and communicate with each other.
So, yeah. So how many bays do you have?
3.
Okay, and you currently have 6 stands?
Mhm.
How many stands per bay do you use, or per apparatus?
Depends on the truck. Most of them 4, some of them 6.
Okay, and so this would put you at 10,
Mhm.
which would essentially give you 4, 4, and 2?
Or if I've got a truck that requires 6 lifts up in the air, then I have 4.
So, but also the reason for buying stands was to free up the use of your lifts, right?
Not necessarily in that aspect, but just so you can repair something. Say you have to move a lift out of the way to repair something, it aids in that operation, is what the stands are for.
Okay.
The lifts are what actually lift the vehicle up in the air.
But they're not used to hold the vehicle in place?
No, not if you have to lower that apparatus in a certain way to work on something.
How often have we been maxed out? Like,
A few times.
Frequency? And how often does that occur?
2 to 3 times a month, maybe, or more. Just depends on what's down, what's needing repaired, what's waiting on parts.
and then what was our budgeted amount versus, how much over budget are we?
Okay, so we budgeted $35,975. The current price is $41,980. That was, so it's 6,000 over. If we were to wait, they're actually gonna go up to 11,000 over. So 16% increase versus a 31% increase.
We didn't put any contingency on the pricing that we got?
That was a fault on my part, being new to the budgeting process and stuff like that. I did not put in a cushion for price increases, no.
Just so that I'm clear, there's a, or how I've normally read these, there's a quantity of 4, and then the description is a set of 4. So is that 4 sets of 4?
No,
That's one
just
set
for
of 4.
one set of 4.
Okay.
4 altogether. And we also need to include, if we decide to buy, we need to include that freight charge in there too, which is another $1,450.
Okay. Mike, I know that we had discussed this back some time ago when we were in the budgeting process, made the decision that we were going to go ahead and proceed with the purchase. And I say that we all should have sat down and thought about the potential for the price increase. That in mind, we'll just keep it to make sure that we look at it next time and do a
Yes, sir.
little bit better job at it.
Most
And I say
definitely.
this is all of us, not specifically at you. So I'll make the motion that we approve the purchase of the mobile column lifts for a total of $41,980 plus the $1,450 in freight charges.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to buy the lifts at a price of $41,980 and also pay the freight charge of $1,450. And I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 11, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on budgeted draft command equipment, draft commander quote.
This list of equipment here is stuff that we use for our draft commander. One is a set of gauges that we test the monitor gauges that are on there to make sure they're in compliance, they're not deviated in any way. The other item is a secondary monitor system so that we could better utilize our draft commander, because right now we can really only properly test one piece of apparatus at a time, where this draft commander is rated up to where we can test 2 pieces of apparatus at one time. With that secondary monitor, we can do that. And then the couplers are just something that make hooking that 6-inch up a little easier rather than having to come out 90 degrees straight from the truck. It sweeps it down at an angle to where it makes it a heck of a lot easier to hook those hoses up.
So is this budgeted?
It was budgeted at $3,818.18. So there's a $569.23 difference.
One thing I will say is, I think we could have planned for price increases and still been wrong this year.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
with what
Yeah.
we've
Well,
seen with
everything that's
inflation.
going on, yeah. Okay.
I'll make the motion that we purchase this for draft commander set up for $4,387.41.
Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen to purchase the draft commander hardware for $4,387.41. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Dominy. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 12, discuss, consider, and take necessary action on fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues with the board for future action. All right, Chief Arnold, looks like you're up.
It's the first time I've had a chance to look at this because I've been a little busy this week. Incomplete reports should be just about taken care of. Commissioner Dominy made us a challenge last week to review the health of our organization. And I took a little time this last month to kind of look at what we had. We've got several members that are structural qualified to enter, but their availability is very limited. So I went back and I looked at that, and I've talked to the guys that are able to be inside and had a lot of discussions with them, and I've challenged a couple others that have the ability but haven't got the qualifications, and challenged them to come up to speed. We'll see how that all plays out, but you are right, it is not a real good picture, and I don't think I'm saying anything anybody else here isn't gonna say. It's kind of scary. I sure am glad there's 3 people sitting in my station. The other morning when we had the fatal accident, it was really nice having them rolling out first. I didn't have to see all that. So, as far as anything else that's going on, been a lot of calls for us. A few of our guys that came down there are new, and they were under the impression they were coming to a retirement party, and it didn't turn out so well for them.
Is there
Other than that, I
anything
don't
that
have
would-
any comments. Any questions?
Anything that would help you, Mac, as far as getting the ones that are not structurally certified?
I think it's gonna be their commitment to wanting to do the work. I haven't had anybody just come up that's just gung ho. One kid that came up and thought he was, well, he's a little bit too busy chasing money and his new girlfriend, so. He's young, he'll grow up, maybe he'll still have the interest in a couple more years. I just gotta be patient with him. And that's what we run into a lot. We run into some kids that are all in, and some kids that think they are until other things happen.
Looking at your people that are available and, you know, the time of day that they're available. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you're staff 24 or just day staff?
We're 24,
24.
we're paid staff.
So, but are those people that are available, are they making the runs whenever they?
When they can, yes, but I've got one, my assistant chief, he started a new business, and it's requiring a lot of his time and effort. The other ones are making every call that they can make without family and personal commitments. One of them just had a kid, one of them, plus he's got grandkids, so he's got a lot of time he has to go off, so there's a lot of issues, but everybody's doing their part as much as they can.
I mean, as much as you appreciated the staff that was there going out and making that call, I'm sure that staff appreciates it whenever you guys show up to help us as much as.
Oh, yeah, they do. They appreciate it. They tell us. Matter of fact, the other night during the storm, rather than asking them to go out to keep them fresh in case they need to go to Chapel Hill, I assigned my volunteers to run the roads and look for trees rather than them, especially up in the area that was affected. Yeah. And he was very appreciative that we left them there to rest, so.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
boss.
All right. Bullard, Chief King here? Or anybody from Bullard? Okay. All right. Guess Chapel Hill will be next. Chief Peterson?
I've been, this month I was really busy. You see how many runs we had. One of them was basically when that storm come through. We ran a whole bunch of calls. I had all my trucks out running everywhere, trying to cover our area. And we did real good. I mean, I kept up with everything pretty well. I had 2 ladies that stayed at my station, was communicated well with us. They kind of passed in from one call to the next to keep us moving. I've got, like I say, I've got 1 in the academy now. I've got 2 more that's going to do the fire academy. So I've got guys that's stepping up to go get their certifications. I've lost a few guys, but I have gained some more coming back into as well. So I'm still pretty even where I'm going on my guys. And I strive pretty good to make sure they get their certification. So it makes my job easier. That's what I'm trying to do. The only thing on that storm, I did lose some chainsaws, so I've been trying to get parts from them. I've been contacting, I think Trotter, some of them getting parts for that saw. So we're doing pretty good with that right now. And then the only other thing we had, one was a chain broke, the other was actually the saw quit, but we found out later that whoever mixed our gas got the wrong, didn't put enough oil in the gas, so we had to dump everything completely out of the tank. We got the right mixture back in, we did get it started again. I don't know if it's best if we can try to buy that pre-mixed gas. I know it's more expensive for these saws, but they do better for the saws. Unless something we can look, you guys can look at and see if it's better. It will work better for the saws. Instead of somebody mixing it, if they don't mix it right, it makes the saw not run good. So it's something that we might try to look into. And then, only other thing I had, we did have a call, let's see, this morning I think it was. We had no trouble with the dispatch. Red Springs called dispatch twice over radio, no answer. I called twice on the radio, no answer. The battalion chief called 2 times, nobody answered the radio for Smith County. I finally called, just before the BC did, called the dispatcher to find what was going on. I was told they had a priority 1 scene going over the SO part, and they pretty much shut us off. And so I don't know if there's something to be done on that or not.
We'll handle that.
Okay. I did send a request to Adam. He told me to send him about what I did, so I did send him information on that. I put on 1, 2, 3.
3?
Yep.
And you say you lost a couple?
I lost 3. So I pretty much did the same, yeah. Gained 3 and 3.
Did you just lose them because they lost interest, or?
2 of them moved out of the state of Texas, went to Colorado.
Okay.
And then the other one moved from here to, he got married, and his new wife or girl
Okay.
is going to school at College Station. So
it's
he moved to
more
College
or less
Station.
because of personal interest and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
So,
All right, that's good. All right,
got any questions?
all right,
Okay.
all right, thank you. Chief York from Dixie.
Good evening.
How you doing?
All right. Yeah, like I said, a lot of calls last month due to the weather. We're doing good. I lost 1 guy and I added 2. So I gained 1.
Okay.
We had a meeting yesterday and went to the interview board for those 2 guys. So this next meeting night will be the first Monday of May. We'll vote them in.
Either one of them certified?
No. One of them's wanting to go through the fire academy. He's a younger guy. He's 18. And he wants to pursue it as a career. So he's pretty gung-ho. So hopefully he'll keep his head on straight and pursue that as a pathway.
Okay.
And it's the uncle and his nephew. So still pursuing the brush truck with the grant. Still working with JD and Dale Peterson and Adam. Had a meeting with them, and we're still looking at things there, different avenues.
Okay.
So,
All right,
other than that, everything's going good.
all right. Thank you. All right. Let's see who else we got here. Chief Stone, Flint Gresham. About time you showed up.
Hey, it feels good to be in town for a change.
I know that's right.
Well, as you can see, we didn't have very many calls. But one thing we have done recently, we've had to help open up our operations center. How many times, JD? At least once this month or twice with this month?
Twice this past month.
We've had to open it up twice this month, so we've had all the good personnel to open that up between volunteer and our day staffs. One thing I would like to say, I would like to thank all of my day staff because we've taken on several new members, 2 just this last month. They've been working very well when they come up to the station with them, putting them through the rigors, working with them, training them. I really thank them guys for doing it. We do have 1 firefighter in the SFFMA Fire Academy right now, We got 2 that's wanting to go to the academy. So the few we've got, we're coming up strong again, finally. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Hunter, that's how you do it.
All right, Chief Thompson, Jackson Heights.
Good evening. On the report, there's no events on there, but there was one event. We did celebrate Jalen's birthday on April the 2nd. His birthday was March 31st. So his family did come out and we did celebrate his birthday that day. I'm losing one person possibly that's going to be going to the White House area. He hasn't expressed that he's going to leave, but he has moved to the White House area. I did receive one referral from Flint. I did send the gentleman an email, but I have not gotten a response back from him. My newest member attempted to, well, made an appointment to meet with IT on April the 13th, but the operations center was open. So when he took half a day off of work to go to the main office, nobody was there. So he was trying to get his ID and all that kind of stuff to get started. There was no phone call to him or anything to let him know that nobody would be there.
Yeah, appointment?
I don't know that he went to the right building. Got it.
So
Pretty sure he
when
went to the second building and not the first building.
he said he went to the second building, he called me, but nobody was there. So I don't know if it was what time the appointment was or if it was locked or whatever the case may be.
Even early, that's possible. But Josh was there at that scheduled time.
Okay. We did put bids in to put out some referral signs in our area, some 2x2s. We've only received one bid back requesting, there's going to be signs for volunteers. So we have not received any other bids. So I'll meet with my board on the 1st to discuss that.
So how many volunteers you have now, Terrence, altogether?
Well, I'm looking at 2 right now.
2 still, okay. All right. Okay.
How do we have him down for 12?
That's what his active roster shows.
Okay.
So they'll just have to turn us in any personnel that are no longer with the department. We can turn them off.
Okay.
If you give a Larry on that and upgrade your roster, Terrence, so we'll have a current roster of who's not there anymore and who is there.
Okay.
Okay?
We can do
Thank
that. Any other questions for me?
I don't think so. All right. Noonday, Chief Harper, not here?
Commissioner,
Yeah.
Chief Harper and Chief Barnett couldn't make it tonight.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
They're on duty.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Down here to where we need to be. Okay, is Chief Salmons here from Ridge Springs? Or anybody from Ridge Springs?
He called me and said, tell y'all he was in school at college and he sorry he couldn't make it, but everything's going pretty good. He said, let you know that the Flint direction truck tanker is doing very well and they appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Chief Mauger from Troop.
Well, I don't know what the missing reports are. We're still having a problem, Larry, with, on the Cherokee County side, we'll get a report and have the wrong address on it. We'll correct the address and it'll still show on the response master.
Okay, we need to sit down on
It's a double deal on it, and it's stacking the reports up on us on that part of it.
we need to sit down again on that and go over it one more time and see if you can show me what it's doing.
But I know there was one just here recently that is showing that 3288 address on there, and we change it, and it'll let you go ahead and put the report in, but it won't erase the one that's there.
If you don't move that map marker to the correct location, that's what's gonna happen. So we need to make sure that when you change the address, that you're moving that map marker.
I thought it moved itself.
If you
What
search
I
for
was
the
told-
address, if you're just manually entering it, it's going to require that you move it to where the call's actually at. So we
Okay.
need to sit down with it and make sure you understand how exactly that needs to be worked out.
Okay, well, I was on the understanding if you change the address, the marker would move itself.
It will if you use the search bar. If you're manually entering the address, then you'll have to manually move that map marker.
Okay. Well, I'll tell them that, so we don't get screwed up on it again. I apologize, board. I got one of my old members back, so that gave me one more personnel. He is trained. And then I've got another one that just got back the other day, and I've got to get him processed. But he doesn't have any certifications whatsoever, so we'll have to take him from the ground up. We're still getting our one-man responses, and I understand that, and it's because of the personnel problem and the time of day and everything else that's working on us, that part of it. I am aware of it. And like I explained to Mr. Dominy last month, that just because there's one person out there doesn't mean that the rest of us, if we get a second page on something, then we usually get more personnel involved in it. And most of it is going to be on a medical call, on the one-person responses. We had a GSAR meeting here just the other day at my station, and we went over a bunch of our gear that we're trying to put together, and we're trying to get some figures together to where we can put a few dollars in the budget for the GSAR team, where we can kind of have something to work with out of there. Right now, that's about all I have. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Have you got one of your old volunteers that's wanting to come back? I heard something about there was another one maybe wanting to come back. Buddy?
David Lamont's the only one that I know of,
What
just
about
came
Buddy?
back. Who?
Buddy, Fight.
Oh, yeah.
He said something to me the other day out in Marina, he might want to get back.
He's thinking about it real hard. He hasn't put in the effort yet, but he's thinking about it real hard.
Okay, all right.
Is it, off-the-wall question, is there a reason they left and came back, or is it?
He had a job that carried him off up north, up in Yankee Country, and
I don't blame him for coming back.
yeah, he did.
Yep.
He was building those big windmills, and he didn't like having to crawl up and down those ladders, I guess, so.
Sounds good. I just checked. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Chief Champion from White House.
We have run 70 incidents altogether. Still high on the one-man response. I know all those are on medical, is what they're on, because I'll vouch who the majority is. If it's not me, it's Larry sitting over there. The one incomplete report that we've got up there, it is a report that we got going, and I've still got it going. I got to get the guys together. It come up when we had the storms last week, and in essence of getting into them storms, White House area, we got hit twice. The first time on Monday night when we got hit, my guys did an outstanding job, just to let y'all know. First thing we had to do was jump in there and help the city of White House, because they were tied up with a fatality in that first storm. So we had to check a lot of their area for them before we were able even to cut loose to start on our area, checking our area. But then it didn't take that long in checking their area that all the other locations were safe, and then we went on in our area and started checking our area, which we didn't have anybody hurt or any fatalities on ours, which was a good thing. Second storm that come through, that first storm that come through, my guys did an awesome job. We had, 9, 10 people there, Larry? We started when the storm come in like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Then none of us start going home till like 9 or 10 o'clock the next morning, or really changing clothes and going to work. We didn't go home because it happened on Monday night, Tuesday morning. The second storm, we got hit, wasn't near as bad as that first storm, but we still had a good turnout with our guys. About 1 o'clock in the morning, we sent 8 of our guys over to Chapel Hill to help Chapel Hill, because Chapel Hill got the worst of the storm hits in that area, and helped them do secondary searches over there. In essence, of letting y'all know that, we have gotten, in the last 2 months, we've gotten 8 new people. We've lost one this Friday. He graduated from fire school. And he was going, I think, to Colorado to see his parents for a little while, but already lined up with a job somewhere else. So we're looking real strong in that area and been doing good there. And why? Don't ask me, because I don't know, but I love it. You know, I'm glad to see it.
So you got 8 new people?
So we've got, actually, right now we've got 7. We had 8, but we lost one.
Okay.
He graduated Friday from fire school.
How many of those are certified, Gene?
None of them.
None of them? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, no, none of them. None of them, because we had 2 going to fire school. One of them was already going to our department. Okay, and like I say, the one that graduated, he was the newest one. He hadn't been there maybe 2 months, which he got on. The other one that graduated with him was already on our department, and he come on through him and got him in, which, you know, we told him it doesn't matter to us if we got you for 30 days, 90 days, or for a year. We're good to have you. So he turned out real good with it.
Okay.
Teddy, I got a question for you. Going back to his storm response, he was talking about helping the city of White House before he ever got to come out in the county. Do we have an SOG on our calls holding to assist on non-priority on an event like that? How does that normally work? Or is it just our other departments come in and backfill White House and then?
That's what we did. So in my report, it talks about the operations center was open for the severe weather event that caused damage to the White House area on April 6th. Crews from all over Smith County responded to assist White House, VFD, and the city of White House. So we were coordinating resources to that area from other portions of the county. So, you know, Bullard, Flint, even Noonday, we were sending things to everything that was coming in. And it could have been that they were just getting sent to that instead of.
Yeah,
and see, that's one thing.
I just wanted to kind of hear how we backfilled and what we did and why we do it, because I don't want our citizens not to be waiting while we're helping others, but we strategically.
And let me throw in there and apologize with that. I was going to throw in there the other departments thanking them that come over to help us. Okay?
I definitely knew we had it handled before I answered the question. I just wanted it said how we do it, and because I think that's important that our ops center is sitting in there
right
working that, and it was pretty evident. You could listen to the radio and hear when it hit like Palestine, when it hit Tyler and White House, the calls would slow down and pick up. Anyway, I just thought it was
see, and that's one in essence of that. And JD, I'll probably have it further in his report. In all the times that we've gone out and have helped, we hadn't really done much with the city of White House. JD, Larry, and I, and Madison are, after White House got hammered like they did, we are going to work out and get together and work out a little better. I mean, not a better game plan, but an awesome more effective game plan. Game plan we did was, I mean, you can ask the ops center. I mean, it was a big, strong deal with the exception of the resources that we had coming over to help us. It pretty much, we ran the show with a lot of it with me and Madison and the ops center were just backing us up at initial first start. And then the ops center come in with us, which was a good thing. And it really, you know, it really helped, but we're gonna work out and get together, and lay out more, you know, who's gonna do what, when, where, and how. All right?
The main thing on that, Matthew, we were actually prioritizing them behind the scenes and taking care of the high priority and then working in the lower power line down after that.
All right. Chief Allen here from Winona. No, Davey.
David up here.
Okay, Davey.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Our department was hit fairly hard with the storms we had. We had several trees down across roads, 757, south of Interstate, all the way up to almost Gladewater, northeast area of our county, of our district. We were out cutting trees out of the roads. Luckily, no accidents or injuries. We were out till about 2:30 in the morning trying to clear out and do that. The county couldn't come out. They were busy over in White House and other areas. We have lost a couple members of the department and had to move out of district, or one moved to Lindale, another job. But we gained 3 more. And none of them are certified, but they have all been enrolled in our Firefighter 1 class, and it's progressing beautifully. We are working with SFMA, trying to get a local testing site again. It may be possibly in June, but we're getting it local, so nobody has to drive to Austin or Beaumont at the conference. What else was it? Oh, we do have our engine 2 back in service, out of body shop. Larry, Michael and them finished it, and it looks beautiful. Thank you, Michael. I know there was another accident today, but.
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. It rolled out. Hate to hear it all happen, so. But, y'all have any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief Hyde. All right. Chief Clanton, training report.
Okay, so let me see where I can see. We had the driver testing practical, written and practical there at Fleet Maintenance. And we had a lot of people participate in that. I think we ended up making several drivers out of that. I want to thank Fleet as well as IT for assisting on that. Ms. Sherry processed all of the different applications and things and helped look up tenure and various things that go into the scoring. But the shop really helped us out, and you know, we set that driver's course up there at the shop, and IT supported our online testing that we used. I really appreciate their assistance. Our first responder protocol update with UT continued throughout the month with a number of different offerings. I don't have the total number of people that we touched during that program, but I want to thank UT for such a large-scale participation. They came out and literally blitzed the departments with training. We will have some makeup sessions that'll be required, and we'll be scheduling those, but I think we put a big dent in the number of folks that needed it. We did do our totally integrated life support class. They'll finish that up tomorrow with all of their cards, ACLS, PALS, etc. And that's been a successful program there at Red Springs #1. We did a lot of cleaning there at that facility, and we've enjoyed using it. It worked out really well for what we were doing up there. We have it really nice. We participated in the conversation on the incident safety reporting program with Ms. Sherry and with Chief Smith, and getting that done. We have begun to have some meetings with some of our peer groups related to wildfire program initiative and predictions for the summer. And in fact, based on those predictions, have elected to go ahead and move forward with aggressive wildfire training in the month of May. Some of those long-range predictions indicate that by the end of summer and into the months of September, October, we may actually be experiencing an increased wildfire activity scenario. So we're going to really pour some time into some training, the Wildfire What Does the Summer Hold program, which we have scheduled in the month of May. We have had several firefighters attend training at Red River Wildfire Academy. We also have several that are scheduled. I think Bullard and various other departments have people going to the East Texas Wildfire Academy in Lufkin as well. So we're putting a pretty good emphasis on that particular aspect of what we do. We have 22 direct training events during the month of April here. I have the calendar attached in your report. 100 plus hours of direct delivery. That does not include our online delivery courses. Several were assigned, 17 daytime offerings, 5 nighttime offerings, like I say, with a total of 22. I'll entertain any questions.
Well, what's the criteria for driver? How many years of experience they have to have before they can test for driver?
So we require a certification driver operator. They also have to be an intermediate firefighter, which means that they have a minimum of 2 years experience as a TCFP certified member. So I guess the short and simple answer is 2 years. Once they can obtain the intermediate certification and once they can obtain driver operator. Is it 4? I'm sorry, 4 years, 4 years.
I just wondered, I didn't really know.
Did we get 9?
Officially, unofficially, yes. I'm leaving that for Miss Sherry. Any other questions?
Okay, well, I guess since we just talked about it, we had 9 that passed the driver test. So we'll be working on that hopefully this week as far as where they'll be placed. And then on the safety reports, we've had 8 safety reports come in since April 11th through the 25th. 2 of those were near misses and 6 of those remaining were safety concerns. And we're addressing those one by one to see where we can address those issues and correct them. I'm sorry? It's the safety board that sees those. There's 3. It goes to all 3. It goes to all 3 that are on the board. And then the other thing, it's been asked about providing a 401k plan for the volunteers. And I've spoken to our legal counsel on that, and he has said that the 401k is not an option for us because where it can cloud the lines between volunteer and employee. But he did say that we could pursue the TESRS if we want to pursue that. I have reached out to them to get information so that I can bring that back to the board to see if that's an option that we want to look at. And hopefully by next session, I'll be able to bring that to you all. And that's all I've got.
All right, we've resolved 34 work orders, also numbers issues that were not recorded. Currently just plowing away with PMs and working on other outstanding work orders in between all the major repairs that we've had to do here lately. With the purchase of the draft commander stuff, we'll be gearing up to do pump testing here in the next couple months, so we're going to get this all done before it really heats up, and so we're not out there when it's 100 degrees doing this.
How long would it take to test for truck?
40 minutes to an hour. I was waiting on a response from Siddons Martin Waxahachie Paint Shop for the estimate for Flint Ladder 2. Still currently, they're still waiting on some parts information to come in to finalize that quote, but I have heard that they are ready to receive the truck so they can start tearing it down some more just to make sure that there is not any more damage that is not seen on the outside. So hopefully by the end of this week, it should be on its way down to Waxahachie, along with the process started on the, yes. And then of course with the wonderful fleet accident today, we've gotten the ball rolling, got a bunch of pictures taken. I've had Sins Martin from Longview came out and took a bunch of pictures, which they're communicating with that Waxahachie Paint and Body Shop. And that's the ultimate goal, is when they come out to look at that one we just had, they will most likely take the ladder truck down back with them. So other than that, we got no foreseen major projects coming up, and the only other thing that I wanted to add was just to see what we need to do next in order to start getting this third man in the shop hired, because we are starting to get pretty drowned and getting stretched with a lot of the repairs that we've had to do. It would be helpful to have that third man we've been budgeted for.
You skipped Larry.
I was just fine with that. I thought my report just summed it up for you, and you were able to skip me. But I do have one correction on this report on here. One of the projects, the point-to-point at Fleet, I think I stated on here that they had started on the construction. They were scheduled to start at the time that I wrote this last week, and they were unable to due to weather. They've got a little backed up, so they should be starting on that this week if weather allows. So everything's in, it's ready to go. We're just waiting on them to actually break ground on it. And it should be fairly quick once it actually starts. It's going to take probably about 2.5 weeks or so for that tower to be completed. You'll see I've changed up a little bit of the format on here. I'm actually hoping to give you a little more information on open problems next time. Right now I just got projects on here, but I've been able to automate a lot of this. So I'm hoping to give y'all a little more information, a little more projected analysis as well going forward. So on the delayed project notes, the departments that are in green have all gotten me partial information, and I'll drop them off next month if that's all they want on there, is what they've provided. So those will drop off next month. The departments in red have still yet to give us any information. We're still working on the IT policy updates. Had to leave. On the policy updates, HR's been snowed under, so we're still working to get those reviewed when she gets some time. So, but there's no big rush in that right now. On the VoIP project, we did make some good headway last week. I'm gonna let Chief Smith talk about that in his report, so we'll be able to kick that project off fairly shortly. No update on the dashboard project. Still waiting for to receive those products. Still no actual arrival dates yet. And on the server hardware upgrades, we're still just kind of got that put on hold. We're holding where we're at right now until we get back up to full staff. And we've ordered all of the equipment and devices for the tablet projects. The cases and everything were in stock, so they should be here pretty shortly. Should be able to get that rolling. Do y'all have any questions on the report?
Did we, the phishing or security report, that is users that have done their training, that graph, or is that?
This graph is our risk score overall. And the industry risk score is about 3.9. Ours is about 5.1, shows that we still have room for improvement. And something y'all probably all seen is we sent out a security culture kind of review to kind of judge where everybody's at. So that's going to allow us to start targeting down into the individual content areas that we really need to focus on. So we're going to be able to start targeting training a little better maybe even user by user, what's getting pushed out, so that we can hit their weak points specifically instead of overall as a group. So that's going to be very helpful.
That one I called you about the other day, was that just?
It turned out to be, it was simulated.
It was, okay. That's the reason I called you, because it didn't look right. That's good.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Chief Smith.
Okay, I've got my usual response numbers in there. Also have my other report. Our SCBA masks are still delayed. It's not the vendor. It's a shortage in the manufacturing. They can't get the rubber to make the mask. They'll seal around the mask. Ladder testing was completed. The pumpers are still on order. Our bottle testing was completed. Our RIP packs, they're ordered. I think they're going to end up falling in the same with the mask because it's the same manufacturer. They're both Scott. Our hose testing, now that it is approved, will be scheduled for May. Lieutenant's exam, driver's exam were both completed. The fire hose and nozzle project is complete. That stuff came in. We got it delivered, and I know it's being used at this point. Going on down, we are continuing to support the state of Texas.
Smith, I'm going to interrupt you. Did we actually go through and do some general training on those hoses and nozzles?
Yes, y'all were out training on that stuff. Yes.
Good, thank you.
So we are continuing to support the state of Texas wildfire response in West Texas. This is a pretty historic outbreak out there, and the concern is that that's going to trend eastward as we get further into the summer and into the fall. We are getting some really good experience. We are getting some good things coming out of having folks out there, so that when we do end up having that here, it's going to be really beneficial to us. So far, we've got all of our reimbursement paperwork turned in. Everything has been accepted. We'll just wait to hear back from them. A little further down, on 4/7, we did have the residential fire where 2 of our firefighters were burned. They both were treated. One is back to normal duty, and the other one is still recovering. The accident review for that call is scheduled for this week. I know that the safety board they're going to have several people in the office so that they can discuss that. The op center was open twice for storms. One suffered damage in the White House area, the other one in Chapel Hill area. As Chief York said earlier, we've been working together on their brush truck grant. Myself and Larry, among others, did talk to every chief last week, and they have agreed to support a numbering system that we originally talked about a year and a half ago. I still need to follow up with 2 of the chiefs, but the rest of them we're good. I'm still in communication with the Jamestown landowner about our potential property purchase. He was taking his wife back and forth again to her medical care, so I've tried not to hound on him too much. Administration, with the assistance of Chief Clanton and the training division, IT and HR, we have launched the new safety reporting program, and we're currently working through some of the initial reports. And if you have no questions for me, that'll be the end of my report.
Whenever we get a little bit of runtime on our safety reporting program, I'd like for us to start reporting in here what type of comments we're receiving, and as much as anything, what are we learning? What are the value added from all that?
I will add one thing that it wasn't on here. So I spoke to each of you today. You're aware of the accident up on I-20 with the fire engine. We did have an engine struck this morning. The crew was not hurt. The driver of the other vehicle was transported, and we are starting all the paperwork and going to schedule an accident review for that one as well. And then looking at other things to continuously try to prevent that from happening. So.
Have we figured out a budget, what it's going to cost to renumber those trucks?
We haven't yet. We will have to do that. We will have to sit down and figure out what it's going to cost to renumber them. I'm just happy that we're at the point that we know where we're going to go.
Yeah, we just need to know what it's going to cost to do it.
Yes, sir.
Call this meeting back to order at 9:48 PM. Item 20 on the agenda is discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on personnel and employment for Smith County ESD2. As you know, we had advertised for an executive director for the ESD. We went through the interview process, and we made an offer to Mr. Mike McDonough, and he has accepted, and he will be starting employment sometime around mid-May. So he will be our new executive director. He comes to us with about 35 years experience in public safety, so hopefully he'll do us a good job. Item 21 is it's going to be tabled. There's no action to be taken on that tonight, and it'll be tabled until the next meeting. And item 22 is any remarks by presiding officer or board members. We're just trying to finalize and get everything together on the volunteer stipends, make sure we got everything in line on that, and hopefully we'll have it resolved by the next meeting. And that's all I have. You have anything, Brent? Matt? Charles, you have anything? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So maybe.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned at 9:50.